All right, so I'm joined here by Victor Shambare, who's the father to Tawana, who is our racing champ here. Victor, what does it take to raise a racer in the house?
Well, it's difficult. Morning, Jason. Yeah, it is difficult, but also exciting. It's a sport that we grew up not even knowing about, but he introduced us to the sport, and now we're in it. It's fantastic. It's in a safe environment, and so far he's managed to compete in one of the top competitions in South Africa, and is doing well. And yeah, we're so proud of him.
Just going back. That day or that time, that moment when he decided that now this is the sport I'm going to be taking, or was it you or was it him that decided racing?
It was him. If it was up to me, I would not. It's burning serious holes in my pockets. I had bought him a quad bike. I think he was 5 then, so we took it to Donnybrook so that he could try it out there. And while we were there, he then saw the karting guys, and he stopped his quad bike and says, "Dad, that's not what I want. I want the karts." And from there, yeah, they gave him a chance, and we bought him a kart, and then he started competing. So it was him.
On behalf of us all in Zimbabwe, Zimbabwean men, Zimbabwean women, man, how many kids do you have? Because you look, man, you've got it. You've got it. How many kids do you have and how many more? Please, can you have more so that we can have more racers?
I've got 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl. The second son, Shawnee, so he's also racing. But he's just doing it for the fun of it, not with the passion and determination and that Tawana has. And then I'm hoping that no more racing. Let's just concentrate and see how far Tawana would go. But yeah.
Well, I would say that please just can you have my Shambare, please, if you can have more, we'll be very glad as you we owe you as a nation. But now he's practicing here today. Because there's an event that's upcoming in South Africa. Would you just want to shed light upon on that?
Okay, it's an Africa Karting Championship. It's being held under the Vortex Engines, which is the main sponsors of the Rock Cup. The Rock Cup is held in several countries worldwide. I think about 40-something countries. They take part in the Rock Cup. So this edition is especially for African drivers. There will be over 40 competitors. In fact, actually about 60 competitors, about 20-something per grid. So Tawana is taking part in what they call the mini rock class. That's from the 8-year-olds to 13 years, so that's where you'll be taking competing in. There will be South Africans, from drivers from Madagascar, Botswana, Angola, Mozambique. So it's going to be a nice festival of speed, fun, and lots of karting.
Wonderful. So is it this first time that Tawana is really racing at a high-profile event of this magnitude, or he has raced in the past?
He has. This is the second time. Last year, October, yeah, he was in the Africa Open, but it was on a Rotax engines. And he was competing in what they call the Mini-Max class. So it was the first time he was racing in South Africa. He was racing in the first time in a very big grid, over 22 competitors on that grid. He was racing in an unfamiliar circuit. You had to learn from the first time. So he had the first time using new equipment, new engine type, new setup on the kart and the track as well. But he did extremely well. It's very demanding. It's an event that happens over 3 days. You start with practice on Thursdays, qualies on Fridays, and then the main race on a Saturday. So it's very grueling, and he did very well. And I think ending on 14th out of a grid of 22, which was fantastic. He could have finished higher, but there was an incident in Heat 2 where he lost his chain. But we are proud. So he's going back now with more experience from October, and we are hoping that using that experience from October, you'll do well this time around.
And he's racing hardware, the engine?
You will be using the same Vortex engines, the 60cc mini rock engine, which is what he normally drives here. So that then he's got a bit of familiarity with the equipment. So that makes it a little bit easier for him where he's going now with a familiar engine, familiar equipment in a circuit that he has raced before. So yeah, optimistic. At least you probably get into the top 10 and then we see, yeah.
And basically here at home, what are the achievements off the top of your head? I know there are plenty, but that he has managed to put in the bag.
When he started, he was in the cadet class, which is the Bambino. That's from ages 5 years to about 8 years. So in 2019, he was the Sables Karting Club champion under the cadet class. And then the following year, he was the under 10 mini rock champion. And then from that, before we were disturbed by COVID, he has been the run-up in the Zimbabwe Rock Championship and also the club championship. And every time he's been run-up, he's been punching above his weight. He joined the mini rock class at a relatively early, I think he was 7 then, competing with guys that were like that were about 11 and 12. But finishing runner-up, he was really punching above his weight then.
So in terms of funding this, because this is not a very cheap sport, how demanding is that, and how are you managing?
Well, it's pretty much going through my pension, is college fund, our savings, everything. It's a very expensive sport. I mean, for starters, you're looking at about $3,000, $4,000 just for the cart. The engine, you're looking at another $1,500, give or take. Per race event, you need a brand new set of tires. You're looking at about $200 for that. And then you need to have mechanics, the support system that can help him during the race day and practice. So you also pay them a little bit of money for their upkeep. And then you get the your consumables, your fuels, your oils, your engines, maintenance, and that. So yeah, it's a very expensive sport. It's a sport that you actually do well with sponsorship. But at the moment, yeah, it's been from my pocket and not been comfortable, I should say. Yeah.
All right. So if people would want, corporates would want to come in and help you on there, how can they go about it? Or what would you actually need?
Well, any form of sponsorship definitely will go a long way. I mean, you see the way the sport has grown across the border in South Africa. It's to do with a lot of sponsorship. There are massive teams there that benefit from a lot of sponsorship. So any amount of sponsorship could be for the equipment that the driver wears. It could be financials to be able to run this competition. So any form of sponsorship will go a long way in assisting.
And do you have any social media handles if anybody wants to contact you, where they can contact you?
Yeah, Tawana is on Instagram under Tawana Motorsports, and then I'm also on Facebook and Instagram as well under Victor Shambare. So you should be able to get me there. Yeah, I think all my contact details will also be there. So if any social media handles, whether Twitter, it's all under my name. So you should be able to find me easily.
Very lastly, as the father of a champion of this caliber, what would be your aspirations? What would you want to see happening in the life of Tawana?
As long as he can live his dream. If he wakes up tomorrow and says, "Dad, I don't want to race," I'm also happy with that. Then I'll support him with whatever he then decides to do. Besides racing, Tawana is also very able athletics. He was the under 12 100-meter championship at his school at Hartman House. He also loves cross country. He's the vice captain of the athletics club as well. He loves rugby, so he's also doing quite well in rugby. So yeah, I will support him as far as he can go, and so whether it's still in motorsport or whether it's still the other areas where he has excelled in. He's also a member of the choir that went to Portugal and came out with a lot of accolades from there as well. So he's got a lot of things that he's doing, and all I can do is support his dream where he wants to end up. But so far, I think top of all the activities he's interested in, it's definitely motorsport is right at the top. He's really passionate about that. So we continue to support and see where the journey goes.
Oh, that's a lot of areas where this youngster is really performing well. The more reason why this man must have more sons like in the caliber of Tawana. It leads me to say thank you so much, Victor,
so much,
and all the best in South Africa.
Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll come back and tell you some fantastic news of how we would have done in South Africa this time around.